It's time to talk about the Game of the Week. That's right, skaters, gamers, and anyone else who still remembers pulling off their first 900. It is time to get ready because this week's Game of the Week is none other than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. That's right. We're trading in the controllers for skateboards as one of the most iconic franchises in gaming just dropped its next big refresh as the remaster of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 is finally here. And look, early reviews of this game are extremely glowing. Some people are calling it a love letter to the golden era of skateboarding video games, but just with the right amount of modern polish. Reddit is filled with jaw-dropping tricks and combos, and of course TikTok is blowing up with absolutely insane user-created content that is in this game. Now, before we dive into any of that, we have to talk about the review score. Let's pull it up right now. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 has an 83 on Metacritic, which is really good score for a game like this. I was worried it would get a lower score. I'm happy to see that it got an 83. And then once you start diving into the press reviews, I think this becomes even more impressive. Let's start off with Push Square. Push Square gave Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 an 8 out of 5. GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 5. IGN gave it an 8 out of 5. Game Informer gave it an 8 out of 5. Screen Rant gave it a 9 out of 10. And Gaming Trend gave it an 85 out of 100. And you might be asking, Bryant, what did the Nerf Report give Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4? Well, let me tell you, we didn't get sent a copy. That's right, we didn't get sent a copy. No hard feelings, Activision. I understand you're busy. We got a lot of things going on in this world right now. But I will say, I will be picking up this game. I will be playing it this weekend, and I will post my review score over on social media. Now, before we dive into what's new, let's talk about why this series matter. I mean, let's pull up the trailer, right? Tony Hawk Pro Skater is not just a game. This is something that defined an era. Back in the 90s, this series put skate culture on the map for millions of gamers. You were blending tight mechanics with great music. And some great music is kind of an understatement because some of the greatest music to ever be featured in a video game were in Tony Hawk video games. When Tony Hawk 3 launched in 2001, it introduced the Revert, which then created these crazy, endless combos that people were posting and talking about and showing to all their friends. Then Tony Hawk 4 in 2002, that expanded everything because maps got bigger, stories got better, maps got way expanded and super open, and you got brand new objectives added to the game. And then fast forward to today, we get the incredible remake of 1 and 2, and fans like myself say, whoa, that's awesome. But now it's time to give us 3 and 4. Give Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 the exact same love, the exact same treatment that you gave the first ones. And now, 20 years later, since the game's launch, ladies and gentlemen, we are here and the game is out. And look, I know there's people rolling their eyes and being like, oh, it's just a remake. This is not just some quick touch-up of a skateboarding video game. This is a full rebuild in Unreal Engine 5, running in 4K with 60 frames per second. Levels that you remember, like Airport, Suburbia, Canada, Kona, and College are now bursting with detail and lighting and life. Every trick animation has been completely redone with motion capture from real skaters, adding excellent authenticity to the game. The other thing that's super exciting about this is with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, we are getting a fully upgraded Create a Skater and Create a Park system. It's deeper. It's more flexible. And you can even share your creations online and download parks that your friends create. And some of the parks that people are creating online are incredible. And the characters that people are creating, blowing my mind. I saw somebody on Reddit, and I think it was like a YouTube video. They created Elsa as a skatable character. Literally, the Snow Queen from Frozen is skating through the parks, doing tricks in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I feel like the community is going to embrace this, and it's going to be wild to see what they accomplish here. And I'm very excited about this. Now, if you're wondering if the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 is going to have online multiplayer, good news, it does. Plus, it has full cross-play support. And that kind of is like scratching the itch that I have for like a remake of Tony Hawk Pro Skater Underground right now. Because I remember playing Underground and skating with my friends, and it blew my mind. And it seems like a given for a lot of gamers today that like, oh, it's got multiplayer. Obviously, I can play with my friends. But going back to playing Underground the first time and like you're dropping into a ramp and then your friend literally drops in on the same ramp as you, and it was so magical that I wish I could recapture that moment. Like, and I don't think we ever will, because technology is progressing in such a way that I don't know if we will ever have a magical moment like that, and it kind of makes me sad. Now, as far as the in-game roster goes, it has completely been expanded. Now, obviously, you got legends like Tony Hawk, Bam Margera, Rodney Mullen, and Kareem Campbell, alongside new faces like Lizzie Armanto, Sky Brown, and Zion Wright. And we also know the Doomslayer's in here. I saw Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle dropping in on a half pipe. So obviously we're going to have like DLC characters and unlockable characters that come in here. But also, you got Create a Skater. So pretty much anyone can be in this game. I could be put into the game. The first person in the comment section could be put into this game. And honestly, maybe we do that. First person to comment on this video, you're getting put in the game. And then, of course, you have the soundtrack. I mean, we can't talk about a Tony Hawk video game without talking about the music. And this game absolutely nails it. It's keeping the iconic tracks like Ace of Spades, Superman, and When Worlds Collide. But then it also adds like new tracks from people like Run the Jewels, Turnstile, and of course the Hives. And it's like the perfect mix of punk, hip-hop, and metal. And it recreates the magic that game created so many years ago. And I feel like everybody, you could pick a song from this game and be like, yep, I remember playing that as a kid. 100% there. Games like Tony Hawk introduced me to Tricky from Run DMC. The other one that it introduced me to was like School's Out for Summer. I also got introduced to 99 Red Balloons. All of those songs introduced to like in skateboarding, snowboarding, and also like, remember that like Razor Scooter game that came out? Razor Scooter like knocked off the Tony Hawk franchise, and like you were riding scooters and going off ramps and verts, and all I remember is like an unlockable character was like Tito Ortiz. The old school UFC fighter was an unlockable character in the Razor Scooter video game. That's a deep cut if you could ever get one. But anyway, back to the game. Congratulations to Iron Galaxy. Congratulations to Activision. Once again, no hard feelings for not sending us a review copy. I would greatly appreciate one, but hey, congratulations. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 definitely deserves this week's Game of the Week. And if you're ready to drop in, rack up the combos, and maybe even pull off your very first 900, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is available right now for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, the Nintendo Switch 2, and of course, PC.